Hello and welcome to Futrsmpl Friday Live episode 17. I'm joined today by Delfina from ScotlandCanB, and you have me, Lucinda Bray from Futrsmpl. I am full of cold today, so I'm all like, ugh. So I might leave most of the talking to you. Just ask the questions. So tell us about you. Tell us about you and ScotlandCanB and what's happening.
So I am a Uruguayan living in Scotland, fulfilling, I guess, my passion, which is to make doing good as accessible and easy as possible for businesses. This is great times to be doing that because of the world we live in today and how much the consciousness that we have as consumers and businesses. And Scotland's a brilliant place in society to be working with to make that happen.
So explain a bit more about ScotlandCanB for those that don't really understand what it is.
So ScotlandCanB is a play on words of Scotland Can Do, which is the country brand on being an entrepreneurial and innovative nation. What we wanted to do with ScotlandCanB was talking about more of like, who can you be? You can play with that as a personal level or as a business, and like, how good can you be? How can we be a resilient nation? How can we be a sustainable nation? And this is done in a global collaboration between Scotland Can Do and BLab UK, which is a global charity that shares this objective, which is around business as a force for good. So how wonderful would it be if we can not only be an entrepreneurial and innovative nation, but the way in which we reach those objectives is in a very sustainable, resilient, and community-driven way, which is kind of what the world is asking for. So we're trying to blend those two qualities in business.
Okay. And how does that align with B Corp? Is B Corp the same thing, different?
So,
how does it work?
Yeah, so BLab UK is the same body that does certify B Corps.
Okay.
So there is that connection. But ScotlandCanB is designed to work with mainstream businesses, any sort of business, to just start beginning to think about impact. So we understand that B Corps are at the highest level of perhaps of progressive practices and responsibility, if you'd like to see it that way. Yeah. But we are looking to work with as many businesses as possible that perhaps know that this is something they need to start doing, to start measuring their impact, but they don't know how, or they haven't begun to do it. So the whole trainings that we do and workshops that we do is not focused on B Corps. It's focused on, here's an incredible impact tool, and benchmark yourself and start to understand how you compare to others in your industry and how you can have a constant improvement plan to share with your stakeholders. So we do have that connection to B Corps, but that is not the objective of the program.
Okay. And how long has ScotlandCanB been?
It's very young. It's been young. It's a baby. It's a baby at maybe 9 months.
Okay.
It was launched by Nicole Sturgeon at the Impact Summit, May of 2018. So we're coming around to the end of year one. So next April, we will be sharing on our website, which is canb.scot, the learnings of the first year, the insights, and what businesses are saying about their engagement with ScotlandCanB.
Okay. And have there been any highlights for you as part of either ScotlandCanB or in your lead up to here? What would you say kind of drives you?
Highlights is that we have everything we need in Scotland. It's about joining up the dots. So there's a lot of like-minded individuals. And I think part of our work is to try to have much deeper conversations about where are the overlaps for business and how to make it simple for businesses to engage with this. But highlights, I guess, this afternoon we have a masterclass, and the more and more people that come and engage with it and share stories about it, the more that we know that we're part of the ecosystem, which is what we wanted to do. We've had a program called Purpose Pioneers, which is 10 businesses that have gone through 4 months with us of mentoring. And last week we started getting their testimonials on it, and they have really enjoyed it. They've gotten lots of value out of using this tool, and so that is a highlight for us, because it means that we are seeing positive feedback.
Brilliant, great. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm coming to the masterclass this afternoon. And yeah, as Futrsmpl, we've always tried to kind of do what we can in working with social enterprises and charities and things, and really getting, because marketing is often seen as it's sometimes seen as kind of like a bit of it's a negative, but actually there is so much good and so much power in that marketing that you can use for good. It would be fantastic to be able to really integrate those things and make a bit more of it. So we'll move on to our questions, which we will shuffle them up and then take it in turns, picking one and using them as discussion points. So as usual, there are questions along the lines of mental health, how mindful we're being, how we're looking after ourselves in business, in working, and also key things from around the industry, what we're working on, and how we want to kind of improve in those things. Okay, I'll let you pick first.
The top one?
Yeah, go for it.
Need to shut down the shuffling. Key learning.
Okay, so what would be a good learning, either this week, this month, something that you think, actually, that is really useful?
Well, we had a meeting earlier this morning around the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN, and realizing, again, that a key learning is constantly sharing with people what you're doing, because the SDGs is another way of businesses having goals, that contribute beyond profit, and we've just realized that we can start integrating probably next month a lot of the testimonials and the work we do with the SDG network in Scotland. So yeah, a key learning is constantly knowing that collaborating and trying ways to not duplicate efforts is the path forward. So that was my key learning this week.
Okay, I like that. I think it is true that we often get so built into knowing what we're doing that sometimes we forget to share it in as much detail because we know it inside out, and then you go in and talking to people and they're like, but what are you actually doing? What's going on? And then when you share more bits and pieces, they're like, oh, that's so cool, or that's really useful, or how can we get involved in that? So yeah, I think that's a good one, sharing, just constantly thinking, what can we share to see what else can help other people.
It does take more time and more effort.
Yes.
To step out of your automatic mode, but in the long run, that's the type of relationships you want to be building. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, goal for the week, and how will you measure it? So for us in marketing strategy and objectives, we're always thinking whenever we're doing something, is how can we measure that and make sure it's making a positive impact on something, which I imagine links quite well with your impact assessment. So do you have anything this week that you're working on, just to really narrow that down and think what are we doing, and how might we measure what we're doing in that?
Well, Tim and Kaylee, who work with our team, they've been mentors in the Purpose Pioneers, and we are thinking about the case studies. So how are we going to market these case studies in a way that are digestible and simple, and that kind of cross over this barrier of like, oh, doing good is not, it takes too much time, or doing good is not for me, or we say doing good, but it is beyond that. It's just about being a very resilient, sustainable business. So how do we measure these case studies in a way that other Scottish businesses will be interested in understanding? But it is all around measurement nowadays. A lot of the conversations we've had here in Scotland is about, having impact is a great thing, but if you don't start measuring it and you can't compare it year to year, then it's very hard to really
show what impact you're having.
Show the impact. And for marketing, you must imagine that it's so much easier when you have those metrics to tell.
People often think when they're measuring is, what was the end result? But if you don't have the first result, if you don't have where you started, you can't say how well you did or what that measurement actually means. So it's doing a benchmark as well as what you've then learnt. And it's not just about creating more work for people. I think like measures are really good for being able to celebrate and measure success and say, look what we've achieved, look how brilliant this can be, what we can learn from it, and how we can implement that for more people to be able to do it. So I think sometimes measurement has a negative connotation of extra work, what do we have to do this, but actually it's about being able to give yourself a pat on the back at the end of the day and say, I really achieved something, and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think for us.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. I'll let you take that.
Okay. How has your mental health been this week? Good. I bought a 6-month journal that I saw on the newsstand by Women's Health, I think. So I have a journal I write in every evening, but I've now grabbed the 6-month one and it really helps me digest every evening kind of what I'm grateful for, and it's just magic. And then I did go to yoga yesterday, and it is, you need to work at it every day. So being easier on myself, taking less meetings, does do the magic. So I try to be very on top of that mental health part for me.
I've started doing something similar because work gets, as soon as more things come in, you're just like, yes, that's great, that's fantastic, and then you start going, hang on a minute, how much am I taking on? How much is this? What's going on? So I've ended up downloading an app that I can just, even if I just put a smiley face or a frowny face or a flat face, so that I can see what's going on and go, well, how much did I have to do in my day, so that I can say how much was I doing and see measurements and be able to just see if there's any triggers and patterns to it that goes, right, okay.
So you're doing your mental health, like impact measurement, metrics.
Measuring, yeah.
That is incredible. So you can see last year at this date.
Yeah, I would be able to. If I do it that long, then I'll be able to kind of see what trends are in my mental health. Because I've had a vast history of mental health, so I have to keep on top of it and understand it. And the more that, when you get busy, things like writing a journal or writing things down become a bit more of a chore, because you got time to fill it in? Have you got time to do it? So I found this app that I can literally just smiley face, frowny face, and be able to see what was I roughly doing at that time, and see if it could just be that I'm miserable in winter because it's dark and cold, and that would probably be quite common and quite fine. Or is it for me? Is it something that is actually reactive, because it's reactive to stuff that's going on, so I've been really busy, so that makes sense that I'm stressed? Or is it actually something that I need to then go away and go, hang on a minute, I'm starting to be down when I don't need to be down? Is this a warning sign? Do I need to see what's going on? Do I need to go and
listening to the warning signs,
and understanding what they are, personally, is a big thing.
Well done. You'll have to give me that app.
I will.
After this.
Yeah, I think it was Daniel. Yes. We are. I've just stolen Delfina before this impact assessment, so the people are starting to arrive. So I will close off there. But thank you so much for your time.
That was really nice. And more to do.
We usually put a timer on it so that we don't, because there are loads, and we just end up chatting and chatting and chatting. But we'll leave it there, and we can always do another one another time.
Yes.
And see how things are going.
Okay.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you everyone for watching, and we will be back next week. Thanks. Bye.